Coming up on the 2014 FIFA World Cup magazine, we're in Recife in Brazil's northeast. We'll meet Mauro Shampoo, a footballer turned hairdresser and star of the silver screen. And we take in a local derby between Sport and Náutico. But we begin in Melbourne, where Australia entertained Saudi Arabia in the final round of group matches in Asia's third round of qualifying for the 2014 FIFA World Cup. Saudi Arabia needed a victory to be sure of joining the Socceroos in round 4, and goals from Salem Al-Dawsari and Nasser Al-Shamrani had them 2-1 to the good at half-time. Australia, who are aiming to qualify for their third consecutive World Cup, were level on 73 minutes when the evergreen Harry Kewell turned in Alex Brosk's clever cutback. Brosk, who'd earlier made it 1-1, edged Australia into the lead just 2 minutes later. And it wasn't long before another veteran, Brett Emerton, completed the fight back with a fortuitous fourth goal for the hosts. 4-2 Australia, the final score. That result meant that either Oman or Thailand would pip the Saudis to second place in Group D if there was a winner in their game in Muscat. 8 minutes in, Oman broke the deadlock when Hussein Al-Hadri swept them into the lead. Oman have never appeared in the World Cup finals, but 2 minutes into injury time, Abdul Al-Makbali's goal confirmed their place in the next round of qualifying. The 2-0 scoreline was celebrated on the terraces and in a jubilant Omani dressing room long after the final whistle. In Group B, Korea Republic's hopes of making an 8th consecutive finals appearance were in danger of being extinguished. Defeat at home to Kuwait would see their opponents progress and leave the hosts sweating on the outcome of Lebanon's game in the United Arab Emirates. Those fears were eased somewhat when the experienced Lee Dong-guk eventually put the hosts ahead midway through the second half. A second goal from Lee Kun-ho just 6 minutes later completed a 2-0 victory for the Koreans. And that result meant that Lebanon also qualified for round 4, despite a surprising 4-2 defeat in the UAE. So here's confirmation of the 10 qualifiers who'll contest round 4. The teams have been drawn into 2 groups of 5 and will play each other home and away. The top 2 in each section will qualify automatically for the finals in Brazil. Our destination this month is Recife, the picturesque capital of the state of Pernambuco. Situated in the northeast of the country on Brazil's Atlantic coast, Recife is home to around 1.5 million people, all of whom are treated to a tropical climate, beautiful beaches and stunning architecture. In 2011, some 4.5 million tourists visited Pernambuco, and that number is sure to swell come 2014, when Recife will bear witness to 5 matches at the 20th FIFA World Cup. Supporters of at least 8 different nations will descend on the city, and it promises to be an experience that few will forget.
Recife is one of the America's oldest cities. It's over 500 years old. We have a diverse culture in the areas of music, dance and gastronomy. Our beaches are very beautiful, our people are very friendly and welcoming, and there are lots of good business opportunities.
Yes, the city itself and the state of Pernambuco are blessed with mile upon mile of sandy beaches. Here in Recife, Boa Viagem is a particular favourite, and this being Brazil, a football is never far away. Futebol is a favourite pastime amongst many who flock here, and the dexterity and skill of the exponents are sights to behold. Often dubbed the Brazilian Venice, Recife is ready to welcome the world, and many who visit are sure to return. Recife's Estadio Ilha do Retiro is a venue with a rich history. It was opened in 1937 and has always been home to Sport, the city's most successful club. In 1950, Ilha do Retiro was given the honour of hosting a match at the 4th FIFA World Cup, a group encounter between Chile and the USA.
There was quite a lot of commotion and a good deal of joy that consumed the city at the time. Hosting a World Cup match was really something the entire population was keen on.
The Americans arrived in the city on the back of their historic 1-0 victory over England in Belo Horizonte. Their meeting with Chile was headline news in Recife, and the US players were presumably unaware of the frantic activity that was going on behind the scenes to ensure the stadium would be ready.
FIFA only awarded the match to the city at the last minute. So there was something of an emergency. And we had to mobilise all of Sport's members, directors, associates and supporters to help refurbish the stadium. We put fences around the pitch. We worked hard on the turf. And we built 3 changing rooms for the teams and the match officials. 4 tunnels were also built. Only then did FIFA authorise the match to be played here in Recife.
On match day, myself and my friends left the house for the stadium at 10:30 a.m. I live close by, so we walked there. I knew that if we left any later, we wouldn't find a seat, and there was no way that I was going to miss that match.
Chile came into the game on the back of 2 defeats against England and Spain, but raced into a 2-0 lead against the USA thanks to goals from Jorge Robledo and Atilio Cremachi. But back came the Americans. Frank Wallace reduced the arrears before Joe Macca was given the chance to level things up from the penalty spot. 2 goals in 3 minutes, and it was game on in Recife.
I remember it clearly, because I was on Sport's board of directors at the time. I actually watched the game from beside the tunnel. I watched it unfold from the edge of the pitch.
Having regained the lead, Chile scored 2 more goals before the end to complete a 5-2 victory, although some of the 8,000 fans had drifted away before the end. 62 years later, Recife is again gearing up to host a FIFA World Cup. The city will stage its 5 matches at this site on the edge of town. The Arena Pernambuco will boast a capacity of 43,000 and will be the centrepiece of Copa City, a complex that will feature shops, restaurants, cinemas and housing. A fitting venue for the FIFA World Cup. But who will play here in the years that follow?
We have 3 big clubs in Pernambuco. Of those 3 clubs, we've signed a contract with Náutico. The other 2, Sport and Santa Cruz, are currently in talks with us. So things are progressing, and we hope to have contracts signed with all 3 clubs so that they can share this wonderful and extremely modern facility.
These are exciting times for football enthusiasts of all ages in Recife. These 3 men witnessed the city's 1 World Cup match back in 1950. So what plans for when the tournament returns in 2014?
I intend to go to at least one match, to see the arena, to see the stadium, because Pernambuco is a state that lives and breathes its football.
It will be much more interesting this time. I, for one, intend to see every single game.
Oh, I'll go. I'll definitely go. I don't know if I'll get to all the games, but I'll definitely go to one or two.
Multicoloured parasols are all the rage in Recife. It does sometimes rain in this part of Brazil, but they're mostly used by passistas, the dancers who perform Frevo.
The origin of Frevo as a dance comes from capoeira, from the old capoeiristas. There was a time when capoeira was outlawed in Recife because it was often associated with violence. Then they began camouflaging some of the steps, and Frevo was born out of those moves.
Ana Miranda manages this Frevo school in Greater Recife. It was founded in 1996 with the aim of preserving what's an important aspect of local culture. The school welcomes people of all ages and is open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday to Friday. There are currently 600 students registered, all taking advantage of the free lessons in Frevo.
The word Frevo comes from ferver, to boil. In the olden days, people said it was from the pans they used to boil sugarcane. When sugar was put in the pans, it began to bubble up, and that was called frevura. It went from ferver to frevo to frevo.
Frevo music preceded the dance, and saxophones, trumpets, trombones and drums are a must-have for any Frevo band. Unsurprisingly, both the music and the dance are a big feature of Recife's Carnival celebrations. So, what of the parasol?
The parasol first appeared as a big umbrella that protected people from both the rain and the sun. It was also used to damage the musical instruments of rival bands. Initially, it was more of a weapon, and only later was it adopted by the dancers. It gradually got smaller, and now it serves as an instrument of balance, as well as beauty.
From humble and almost clandestine beginnings, Frevo is now part of the popular culture of Recife. It was created by the people, it's been modified by the people, and the music and the dance are now very much enjoyed by the people. A barber's shop is a familiar sight in most city centres, but this is no ordinary establishment. And the proprietor is no ordinary barber.
Quem era Mauro, hein, Márcia? Show! Quem era Mauro, hein? Show! Tira onda! Puta merda, show! Show, man! Woo!
A former shoeshine boy, Mauro Shampoo, is a minor celebrity in these parts. He's 54 now and has been cutting hair in his football-themed salon ever since his playing career came to an end.
I played for the worst team in the world. I'm a number 10, just like Pelé, Rivaldo, Maradona and Zico. They're all stars. I played for Ibis and scored 1 goal. People say it was an own goal, but that's not true.
Mauro spent his entire career with a lower league club named Ibis, a club that was recognised as the worst in the world by the Guinness Book of Records, after amassing a negative goal difference of over 2,000.
This is Maradona. I was inspired by him. He was a number 10, just like me. His salary compared to mine was huge, but on the pitch I was better than him. I'm certain of it. Left-footed, cool hairstyle, number 10.
Mauro's salon is a shrine to the beautiful game, and each of his chairs, which at various times have been occupied by World Cup winners and film stars, is dressed in the colours of a Recife club.
The red and whites from Pernambuco. This one's for the fans of Náutico. They play good football, and they really are a big team. That's Náutico. This is Ibis. Ibis, my team. I played for them for 10 years and never won a game, but it made me famous. This chair is for the Santa Cruz fans. The Tricolor, Santa Cruz, are also from Recife. They too have great fans. And this is sport. Sports fans also come here, to Mauro Shampoo's salon.
Believe it or not, back in 2006, a film entitled Mauro Shampoo, soccer player, hairdresser and macho hit the silver screen at the Manaus Film Festival. There were no Oscar nominations for the leading man, so it was back to the barber shop in Recife, a city he feels will offer much to those who visit during the FIFA World Cup.
They will enjoy everything. There are beaches, there's the nightlife, shopping centres. The northeast of Brazil offers something different. There are many beautiful things here in Recife. And the women, of course.
As for the football, who does Mauro think will lift the trophy in the Maracanã in 2014?
Which team will win the World Cup? It's obvious, Brazil. Are you having a laugh? Look here, you see this? I'm only cutting it in 2014 when Brazil are crowned world champions. My next haircut will be in 2014. Look at it. And Brazil will be the champions.
Show de bola! Woo! Show, show!
Just 6 kilometres of Atlantic coastline separate Recife from one of the best preserved colonial cities in Brazil. It's a must-see for any visitors to Recife come 2014, and a helpful tour guide will be sure to show you the sights.
Welcome to Olinda, a wonderful city. We're at its highest point, the Alto da Sé. The city was recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site, thanks to its architectural and cultural prowess.
Founded by the Portuguese in the 16th century, Olinda was soon at the heart of the region's sugarcane industry. Much of the town was destroyed by the Dutch a century later, only to be rebuilt by the Portuguese once they regained control. Today, much of the architecture dates from the 18th century, and the city boasts as many as 20 Baroque churches and several small chapels.
This is the Sé Cathedral, Olinda's main church, the third oldest in Brazil. And in this heat, this is the best drink you can have.
A drop of coconut juice will certainly quench the thirst on a tour of Olinda's historical sites, which earned the downtown area UNESCO status in 1982. Today, some 400,000 people live here, in a city that's also famous for its carnival celebrations. And the food's not bad either, so long as you know where to go.
For a great culinary experience in Olinda, Oficina do Sabor is a place to go.
Opened in 1992 by chef Cesar Santos, Oficina do Sabor is regarded as one of Brazil's leading restaurants. Pernambuco cuisine dominates the menu, and it's the house speciality, gerimum recheado, a local variety of pumpkin filled with prawns or lobster, and mango or passion fruit sauce that continues to prove a hit.
This is a dish you should have in Olinda after a long day of fun.
There are at least 2 days between the 5 World Cup matches that'll be played down the coast in Recife, so plenty of time to make the short journey to Olinda to soak up the culture and sample the sights of this hidden treasure. Before the advent of air travel, a national competition was a non-starter in a country the size of Brazil. For that reason, state leagues took centre stage. A national championship finally came into being in 1971, but the state competitions were still contested, often in the first 5 months of the year. In Pernambuco, the state championship has been held every year since 1915. Recife's Sport have lifted the trophy on 39 occasions, with their city rivals Santa Cruz and Náutico some way behind.
We have 3 big clubs in Recife: Sport, Santa Cruz and Náutico. Soon all three will have celebrated their centenaries. They're clubs of great tradition in our state, and between them, they've won almost all of the titles ever handed out in our state competitions.
Sport, the most successful of the three, was formed in 1905 after Náutico's refusal to accept black footballers led a group of their players to form a new club. State titles have since been secured on a regular basis, and Sport were crowned national champions in 1987 after a controversial end to a convoluted campaign. This year, after 2 seasons in Brazil's second division, Sport will be back amongst the country's elite when the national competition kicks off in May.
Sport is without doubt the biggest club in Pernambuco, the club that offers the best working conditions, with the most passionate fans. In terms of the future, things are looking very bright, thanks to the construction of a new arena, a private stadium belonging to the club. There's also a plan to build one of the best training grounds in Brazil, and maybe even the world.
For Santa Cruz, meanwhile, the past few seasons have been difficult to say the least. Financial mismanagement pushed the club to the brink of bankruptcy, and the team dropped down to the 4th division of the national championship. Even so, Santa Cruz were good enough to win the state title last May, and that momentum carried them to promotion in the national competition. Good times appear to lie ahead.
I'm very optimistic because the club has already achieved extraordinary things. In terms of popular clubs, it's one of the main ones in Brazil. Last year, Santa Cruz attracted the largest number of people to a stadium, to this stadium in fact, and we were playing in Serie D. That's more than any club playing in any of the 4 divisions.
While Santa Cruz was celebrating their escape from the basement of Brazilian football last year, Náutico, like Sport, secured promotion to the top tier of the national championship. A few months on, the players are setting their sights on winning the state title for the first time since 2004. And the regional competition offers at least 2 opportunities to get the better of Sport. The Clásico dos Clásicos, as the fixture between the 2 clubs is known, is one of the oldest rivalries in Brazil.
It's a game that we, the players, and the public at large, regard as a tournament in itself. It's like a match from another world, something beyond the stadium's atmosphere.
The demands are very big and the rivalry is huge, to the point that when you're going out onto the streets, the fans come up to you and say, "You must win, you simply must win."
Sport and Náutico's first encounter of 2012 was in the state championship, which in Pernambuco is contested by the region's 12 leading clubs. They play each other home and away in a league format, with the top 4 progressing to a semi-final stage. The winner is eventually crowned in May. The Ilha do Retiro was packed for this first meeting of 2012, and it proved to be a lively encounter, with Sport giving their fans plenty to cheer early on. Goals from Willian Rocha and 2 from Robertson had them 3-0 ahead after just 14 minutes. Náutico needed to stem the tide and did so before the half-hour mark when Souza produced a smart free kick. Sport restored their 3-goal advantage after the break, only to be pegged back to 4-2 with 16 minutes to play. Then, when Lennon's speculative effort was deflected past the despairing dive of Magrão, Náutico sensed an opportunity to secure a draw. A shot from distance, though, was all they could muster in the dying minutes, and Sport held on to celebrate a 197th victory in the 507th Clásico dos Clásicos. By mid-March, Sport were top of the table, with Náutico 3rd and Santa Cruz 4th. Salgueiro, a 3rd division outfit, were also in the mix, but the smart money suggests that the championship trophy will remain in Recife, as has been the case for 67 years. Coming up next time, we head to the state of Bahia and its beautiful capital, Salvador. We'll offer a lesson in Brazilian culture through the medium of capoeira. And we turn back the clock to relive the final match of the 1950 FIFA World Cup. Until then, goodbye.